Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, today on the video, I'm going to be talking about the Russian human wave and kamikaze tactics that are being used in the Andiivka area in Ukraine. As you probably would have noticed if you've been paying attention to this conflict, Russia has been throwing huge amounts of soldiers into this region with very, very little gain. With some reports of up to as many as believe 850 to 1,000 people a day dying on the Russian side. In this, the Russians also lost about 90 armoured vehicles and tanks in the first day, and about 80 or so in the second. All of this leads to a big problem. Russia is losing lots of assets. So I guess, what's the implication of this? What does this mean for Russia? Well, the answer is reasonably simple. You see, there has been a discussion as to whether or not Russia would be able to take this. But the most common argument is that Russia would just be able to throw in more and more soldiers and eventually take this territory by basically just throwing more people at the problem. Now, obviously, whilst this is partially correct, it hurts me a lot to say this, but at the end of the day, once you throw so many people at a problem, eventually the problem will go away. The issue, however, is that it brings in a whole new problem. And this is what Russia has to consider. You see, with the current situation in Andiivka, Ukraine is currently holding off Russian forces with, I believe, relatively few losses. Obviously, they're taking losses from people, and they have lost a bit of territory here and there. But overwhelmingly, they haven't lost massive amounts of swaths of territory that Russia really needs them to lose. Also, when we talk about Andiivka, you got to understand that it is a relatively well-sized town. I was going to call it city, but it's not really a city per se. However, what you got to understand is that there will be a lot of urban warfare if, say, Russia gets into there. And this means that Russia isn't close to finishing this up, not by a long shot. There's still lots of Ukrainian forces in the region. They'll have to clean those up, and they haven't actually got to the city yet. Or again, the town. So it's kind of hard to say that Russia will be able to pull something off just with what they've currently got going. Another big problem is that even if they manage to take all this territory, close the cauldron, deal with all of Ukraine's forces, the question is, can they maintain defenses against the next Ukrainian assault? And that's a big question that a lot of people don't really have the answer to. You see, I don't think Ukraine would be too happy to sit around and let Russia just take this territory willy-nilly. And I'm willing to bet that Ukraine would likely try and do counter-offensive operations in this region. This could very possibly lead to a rapid collapse or decline in the Russian forces in the area. But not only that, but there's the potential that this could drastically weaken the forces protecting Donetsk city, which is a really, really big problem for Russia. Given the fact that they have been fighting for control of the city and trying to hold Ukraine back, if they lose these huge amounts of forces, and this is the thing, right? We're not talking 100 or 200 soldiers. We're talking thousands of people, right? In the past week, I believe, over 2,000 people have died on the Russian side of things. And that's just not something the Russians can sustainably lose. That means it's going to have to be made up for by other assets, other units, and those are eventually going to draw out of the defensive forces that Russia has available in the area, which realistically leads to a situation where there's not enough defenders, there's not enough equipment, and if Ukraine, say, punches through those defensive layers and those people that have been stripped from the area, potentially losing huge amounts of soldiers, Ukraine could potentially face a under-equipped and undermanned force of Russians in Andiivka's area. But yeah, that's really it for now. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. It's really the best way to support this channel, given the fact that I'm not monetized or anything. And yeah, I greatly appreciate it. I thank you all so very much for watching, if indeed you still are, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so very much. Goodbye.